It is Fishing with Crimpy here on Newstalk ZB. Happy Saturday morning. We've got Ben Wilkinson on the show. He's all the way from New Forest in the south of England.
Ben, we're talking about the fishing and basically comparing New Zealand to what you have in the UK. What species do you target over there?
Cod mainly. Cod and bass in the summer. Well, cod in the winter, bass in the summer. That's in salt water, but in fresh water I mainly fish for trout.
Do you have to pay for your trout fishing over there?
Yeah, you do. Most of the rivers in the south of England are all privately owned, and they're all, to fish them you'd have to join a syndicate, which they're very expensive to fish on chalk streams.
Is that what you do?
When I can afford it, yeah, I try to, but I do a lot of fishing off the west coast of Scotland where it's relatively cheap. You can go up there and you don't have to pay too much money.
What would you pay if you joined a syndicate in the south of England and fished the chalk
you could
stream?
pay, on the River Test in the south of England, you could pay, up to, in the thousands, over £5,000 I would imagine.
Really?
What?
Probably a lot more for some of the beats on the Test.
So what is that for a yearly?
That would probably be for a year, yeah, fly fishing.
5,000?
The River Test is sort of like, the most expensive chalk stream river in England.
Geez, I'm starting to enjoy what we've got here. I can see why your eyes light up when you come to Golden Bay. What's your best fish that you've caught so far since you've been coming here?
I caught a pretty big 7-gilled shark a couple of years back off Derval. I didn't get to weigh it. We were just in a little boat, but that's the biggest fish I've caught in New Zealand.
You sent us a nice photograph which is going to appear in a future edition of the fishing paper, holding up a lovely trevally. Talk us through how that came about.
I normally go fishing at the top of the tide off the wharf at Terracotta Harbour. Every now and then, every couple of days, and normally you just catch brim off there. But that day was something different. The trevally come in at this time of the year when the sea warms up a bit, and you can catch them off the harbour wall occasionally. I've just never caught one that big.
Did you eat it?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, the whole family had it.
And how'd you find it?
It was okay. It wasn't as good as blue cod or snapper, but it was all right.
And see, now you're starting to sound a bit like kiwi. It's not that good. How do people judge fish in the UK? Do you have sort of a hierarchy of what's a great eating fish and what's sort of like a junk fish?
A bit like in New Zealand, our cod. Cod and haddock are probably our best fish to have with chips, to be fried. And I suppose a junk fish would be a
conger eel.
Yeah, conger eel or a coley.
A what?
Like a saithe. So it's sort of a member of the cod family. Yeah. They're just used for sort of bait or pies.
For people who have not been to England, can you compare the taste of a cod or haddock to anything that we have here?
Well, blue cod's pretty similar to haddock, I'd say. They're similar in flavour. I'd say haddock's a little bit better than blue cod.
Oh, get out of here. You're a pom.
When you're talking about catching cod, Ben, in the UK, are you talking blue cod, red cod?
No, just northern Atlantic cod. They look completely different. They're sort of sandy coloured with speckled. They grow a lot bigger, right, and live in cold water. You probably see them in the Deadly Catch. You catch a lot of them on that.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay.
When you go fishing in the UK, are you competing with a lot of other anglers from the shore, or can you find sort of areas of solitude like we have in New Zealand?
No, you can still find areas of solitude off the west coast of Scotland, but in the south coast, if the weather is good enough to go out fishing, it can be a bit busy over popular fishing grounds.
You said you have to go quite a way out to sea to ensure any level of success. Does that mean that you have your own boat, or do they have charter trips?
No, we have charter trips. Yeah. I went on one just before Christmas, before I came out, off the Isle of Wight, off the Needles for cod. Just a whole gang of you pay for the charter.
And what would you pay for an average charter?
An average charter you probably get between £400 and £600 for the boat for the day.
That's not too bad.
It's not too bad between sort of 8 rods.
So it works out to about £400 or £500 per fish.
Yeah, basically.
Hey, Ben, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
And a big thanks to Caroline too, Ben, for stitching you up and sorting this out. We do look forward to more stories from you in the fishing paper. All right, don't forget to grab the latest edition of the paper. $750 worth of CD Rod's gear still up for grabs. Your last chance to do it this month. Paper's out next week. We'll see you next Saturday. Bye-bye.